Chotin, once a simple mortal, had now reached his 100th year. Today marked the end of his long life. Surrounded by his descendants, he spoke his final words. After giving his last instructions, he closed his eyes and peacefully departed. But before his spirit could fade away, something extraordinary happened. The system appeared. The subject has fulfilled the requirement for number of descendants. Initiating system reward. From that moment on, Chotin's journey on the path of immortal cultivation began. As time passed, his descendants multiplied, and with each day, Chotin himself grew stronger. Far away, on a towering mountain shrouded in drifting white clouds, birds soared across the sky. Echoing voices resounded in unison, chanting, "Old ancestor, rest in peace as you descend to the golden springs." The solemn voices carried across the majestic peaks. Generations of the Tio family bowed in reverence before the coffin. The scene was heavy with sorrow. Paper money fluttered in the wind, and strips of white cloth swayed mournfully. In this new world, I awoke with no innate talent, no aptitude for cultivation. I was nothing but a mortal. Yet, through countless marriages, children, and blessings, I laid the foundation of the Tio family. Lying weakly on the bed, I gazed at the thriving legacy before me. In a faint whisper to the attendant by my side, I said, "Leaves always return to their roots. Even though I lacked the power to change this world, at least the world could not change me." The person beside me raised a trembling hand, wiping away tears. "Master, your daughter-in-law in the third room is giving birth today, so she could not be here. But the rest of the Tio family is gathered. If you have any final instructions, please speak. This servant will carry them out." I closed my eyes briefly, reflecting. Spring comes and goes. People leave, and others remain. Looking over my descendants one last time, I whispered softly, "All is well." Summoning the last of my strength, I asked, "Has the newborn child been given a name?" The mother and infant knelt before me. After a long pause, I declared my final command. "Our Tio family flourishes and prospers. Let this child be named Tio Hoha." The housekeeper was momentarily stunned by my choice of name. Then, at last, I closed my eyes and departed. Everyone, high and low alike, cried out in unison, "Master, rest in eternal peace." But at that instant, a voice resounded within my mind. Descendant with spiritual roots detected. Tuaha has been born. My eyes shot open. The system of 10,000 prosperous affairs officially activated. Visions flooded my mind. As long as one grandchild is born each year, the system will grant supreme cultivation techniques, divine bone essence, sacred pills, celestial weapons, unparalleled opportunities, and 9-star clouds endless, top-tier rewards. I sat upright suddenly, heart pounding, mind brimming with questions. The housekeeper, startled by my sudden revival, cried out in shock. The mother and child beside him froze, their eyes wide with disbelief. From outside the courtyard, the rest of the family heard the commotion. Bursting into tears of joy, they shouted, "The old ancestor lives! The old ancestor lives!" The housekeeper quickly tore down the white mourning cloths. With a firm voice, he declared, "This funeral never happened." A gentle breeze swept through the chamber, rustling the air around the coffin. Outside, 2 young men whispered to one another in disbelief. Could it be? Is the old ancestor still alive? Or is this just his final surge of energy before the end? Could it really be happening again? Meanwhile, I sat quietly on the bed, staring at my withered hands. A wave of anger and confusion surged within me. What in the world is this 10,000 prosperous affairs system? And why? Why does it only awaken when I'm already 100 years old? The system displayed a notification, and the host quickly opened the new player gift. Congratulations, host. You have received 3,650 days of longevity. Another notification appeared. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the Supreme Chaos Spiritual Root. The messages kept coming one after another. Congratulations, host. You have acquired the supreme Immortal Cultivation Manual, the Great Dream Purple Chest Scripture. Immediately, a book appeared before him, glowing with profound energy. The system then announced again. Congratulations, host. You have received 55 cultivation levels. Please consolidate your cultivation. In front of him, a red ball of spiritual energy began to gather. That energy enveloped him, seeping into his body before being absorbed into the center of his forehead. A bright red spirit stone materialized there, shining brilliantly. Spiritual energy flowed around it, bathing his entire body in a radiant glow. Suddenly, the spirit stone, containing 55 levels of cultivation, blazed with dazzling light. The energy spiraled around him, transforming his body. His aged, wrinkled hands smoothed and regained their youthful appearance. The housekeeper, witnessing this miraculous change, cried out in astonishment. "This is the supreme Tao meteor. When I once traveled abroad, I had the fortune to see it. This is a heaven-sent opportunity." His eyes gleamed with excitement as he declared, "The old ancestor has awakened. At the brink of life and death, you have stepped onto the path of immortal cultivation. Heaven has opened its eyes. Heaven has saved the Teo family." The spirit stone continued to hover as the system chimed again. "Congratulations, host. You have broken through to Kai refining, first layer." Almost instantly another notification followed. "Congratulations, host. You have broken through to Kai refining, second layer, third layer." In just a few seconds, Tutron had advanced all the way to the 9th layer. His entire body rejuvenated. His hair turned black once more, his face regained youthful contours, and his health was completely restored. "Congratulations, host. You have broken through to Foundation Establishment." Opening his eyes, he gazed at his transformed body, his hands trembling as he muttered in disbelief. Foundation Establishment. His crystal-like hands gleamed, and he clenched his fists with joy. 9 layers in a single day, and straight into Foundation Establishment, as expected of the system. The old housekeeper fell to his knees and bowed deeply. "Congratulations, Master, on entering the path of immortal cultivation." All of his descendants followed suit, bowing one after another. "Congratulations, Master, on entering the path of immortal cultivation." Tutron rose and looked over his family with a calm smile. "Each time the clan welcomes a child, I will be rewarded again. Longevity, the chance to live on. My children are already 70 years old, so there is little to expect from them now." Suddenly, his eyes brightened. "But my grandsons are only 50. They still have time to contribute." Realizing this, Tutron burst into hearty laughter, clearly satisfied. "The great-grandsons are still young as well. They must work tirelessly, day and night, to continue sowing seeds for the clan's future." He reached out, pulling the housekeeper up and patting him kindly on the shoulder. "Pass down my order," he commanded cheerfully. Stretching his hand forward, he proclaimed, "The future of myself and the entire Teo clan depends on this. Let the younger generations diligently bear children for me." Time passed swiftly. 10 years later, the Teo mansion had grown into a place of magnificence and grandeur. Its furnishings gleamed with luxury, befitting a powerful household. Behind the mountain, Tutron, now the head of the family, sat calmly sipping tea. Before him stood his eldest son, Teo Lop, bowing respectfully. "Father, in accordance with your command, our family has worked tirelessly to expand. Now there is a small wedding every 3 days, and a grand wedding every 7. The Teo family has become famous far and wide as a great household renowned for taking wives. Within a distance of 15 units, we are unmatched in population." Thus, the Teo clan rose to prominence in Liu City. The young man standing beside him was his descendant, Teo Hu. The family head frowned slightly, then opened his personal information. The system interface appeared. "Initiating family harmony. All things prosper system." Host, Nam Tutram. Age, 110 out of 500. Cultivation, Golden Core, 3rd layer. Descendants, 330. Cultivation method, Great Dream Purple Chief Scripture. Proficiency, Sword Techniques. Specialization, First Class Superior Lu Res Sword Technique, 3rd Class Technique. Spiritual Root, Superior Spiritual Root, Supreme Chaos Spiritual Root. Treasures, Elixir of Youthful Appearance 4 stars, Longevity Pill 5 stars, Foundation Establishment Pill Supreme Quality 1 star. He quietly reflected on his accomplishments over the past 15 years. For all this time, he had never left home. To the people of Lure City, he might as well have been dead, but that suited him perfectly. Seclusion and a peaceful life were what he cherished most. Even reaching 100 years of age before acquiring a system had only strengthened his respect for life. At that moment, the old housekeeper, Uncle Fu, entered and knelt respectfully. Old ancestor, the Nalan family has come to annul the engagement. Nam Tutran's frown deepened. Annul the engagement? His eldest son, Tiep, stepped forward with Tio, who by his side. Tiep spoke coldly. Father, the Nalan family is being outrageous. Just then, the system reappeared. Congratulations, host's grandson, Tio, who has had his engagement annulled. Activating choice function. Choice 1. Endure the humiliation of the broken engagement. Reward, 100,000 lower grade spirit stones. Choice 2. Counterattack with strength and take the initiative to divorce. Reward, Yan Emperor's destiny. Nam Tutran stared at the system, incredulous. These choices? And what is the Yan Emperor's destiny? The system responded. Yan Emperor's destiny, a legacy of an ancient god. After the Yan Emperor descended into the mortal realm, the vast, mysterious power accumulated throughout his life remain. This power can elevate the quality of the user's spiritual root and may also be bestowed upon others. He fell silent as he processed the information. His son and Uncle Fu exchanged worried glances, fearing that the old ancestor had been so angered by the annulment that his mind had become clouded. Nam Tutran finally turned to his eldest son. Tiep was an ordinary man without a spiritual root incapable of cultivation. If the Tio family were to grow into a clan of 10,000, or even 100,000, it would have to depend on future generations like Tio who could cultivate. At last, he spoke. Laya, my child, do you know anything about the King Lan sect on Mount King Lan? Tiep respectfully replied. Father, from what I understand, the King Lan sect's leader is a powerful cultivator, close to entering the Golden Core realm. Nam Tutran's expression darkened. So, that's it. The Nalan family dares to bully the Tio family because they rely on the King Lan sect leader, who is about to advance to the Golden Core stage. Truly, they are seeking death. With his hands clasped behind his back, he glanced at his son. As the Tio family's old ancestor, he himself had already reached the Golden Core stage. He stepped forward and placed a reassuring hand on Tio Hu's shoulder. Do not worry. The old ancestor will personally intervene on your behalf. Tio Hu was moved to tears and bowed in gratitude. Meanwhile, in the front hall of the Tio family residence, a man sat arrogantly in a chair, his tone filled with anger. What is the meaning of this? The Tio family has kept us waiting for far too long. The speaker was none other than the Nalan clan leader, Han Gu. Sitting beside him was Tio's former fiancée, Nalan Yun. Han Gu sneered. Yuner has already become the final disciple accepted by the King Lan sect leader. As for that Tio, he's nothing more than an ordinary man. He is unworthy of Yuner. The Nalan servants echoed their master's disdain, their expressions filled with contempt. Indeed, he cannot compare. Surely the Tio family is plotting some excuse to hold on to the engagement. They even claim to be consulting their so-called old ancestor. Han Gu laughed coldly. Their old ancestor has been dead for 10 years. Just then, Tiop walked into the hall with the support of a cane. At his side stood Tio, who, steadying him. "Brother Hangu, you've been waiting a long time," Tiop said evenly. Hangu looked them over and smirked. "Not bad. I see Tio, who has a fine appearance and a polite demeanor. On the surface, it seems like a good match. But alas, it's a pity. I wonder whether the Tio family's old ancestor would agree to dissolving the engagement." With that, he placed a jade bottle on the table. "This is a pill personally refined by Yunar's master, a supreme quality marrow pill." He turned away and said calmly, "Consider this as compensation from the Nalan family to the Cho family." TP's face darkened. The Nalan family truly knows how to play their cards. Offering immortal pills just to dissolve an engagement face and favor. They want it all. Watching the group leave, he thought bitterly, in the end, they still want the Tio family to owe them a favor. Such calculated scheming. Behind the mountain, Tio Chan observed with his divine sense, fully aware of what was happening in the Cho family's front hall. He snorted. To think they rely on a mere bottle of medicine to act so arrogantly. Holding a teacup, he smiled faintly, then transmitted a message to his grandson, "Your turn now." Upon receiving it, Tio stepped forward boldly and declared, "Clan leader Nalan, you should take this bottle of immortal pills back for Nan Yun to use. As for breaking off the engagement, our family absolutely does not agree." The Nalan clan leader and Nan Yun halted in their tracks. The clan leader's face darkened, and with anger he slammed his cane against the floor. "Tio, you insolent brat, it's not your place to speak. Keep your mouth shut." Yet Tio showed no fear. Slowly, he stepped forward, standing firmly before them. Looking directly at Nan Yun, he asked, "Miss Nan Yun, may I know whether breaking off the engagement is your decision or your clan leader's?" Nan Yun answered without hesitation, "Of course, it is my own wish. My master does not want me bound to an ordinary person who cannot cultivate. It would only hinder my progress." She frowned at him, her tone cold. "The gap between us you of all people should understand it best." Behind the mountain, Chotran snorted, while Tio immediately replied, "Miss Nan Yun, as the granddaughter of a great clan, do you not realize how shameful it is to come here personally and annul an engagement? If I agree, what future standing will the Tio family have in Liu City? How could we ever face Qing Yun Mountain again?" Enraged, Nan Yun pointed at him and scolded, "You are just an ordinary man. What right do you have to dictate terms to me?" Taller than her, Tio looked down, his eyes sharp. "Nan Yun, you claim I'm unworthy of an immortal cultivator like you. But aside from your reliance on the Qing Yun sect, what else do you truly have? And how can you be so certain I am only ordinary?" His gaze grew fiercer. Then he declared proudly, "I have already embarked on the path of immortal cultivation." As he spoke, his body released a surge of power, the unmistakable aura of the Kai refining stage, 4th level. Gasps of shock erupted all around. Stage 4 of Kai refining? It was only one level lower than the personal disciple of Qing Lan sect's leader, Nalan Yun. The Nalan clan leader and Nan Yun stood frozen in disbelief. "How can this be?" Nan Yun stared at Tio, her eyes wide. He radiated strength, his presence dazzling, his figure strikingly handsome. For a moment, she was utterly stunned. After a long pause, she finally spoke, pointing toward the sky. "Very well. I can postpone breaking off the engagement, but only under one condition." "What condition?" Tio asked without hesitation. Her voice was firm. "The engagement will be delayed for 10 years. In 10 years' time, you must come to Qing Lan sect and challenge me. If you lose, I will dissolve the engagement personally, and it will remain between us. That way, your Tio family will not be implicated. Do you dare accept?" Tio's expression turned proud as he waved his hand. "My ancestor once taught me never look down on a poor youth. Very well, I agree." The Nalan clan leader leaned on his cane, his eyes fixed on Tio. At that moment, Tio-chan raised his hand and declared loudly, "Well said, truly well said. You are worthy of being a descendant of the Tio family." Nan Yun trembled with fury. "You nothing more than a fourth-stage Kai refining cultivator dare to lecture me?" She pointed at him, her voice sharp and filled with scorn. "Within 15 years, I will make you kneel before me and beg for mercy." He responded firmly, "There's no need for 15 years. Reaching into his chest, he pulled out a folded piece of paper. Lifting his hand to his mouth, he bit his finger, letting blood well up, and pressed it onto the page. Holding it up before her, he declared, "This is not the letter you wanted to break off the engagement. This is the Tio family's divorce letter to you." On the paper, the word divorce stood boldly, sealed with his bloodied fingerprint. "From this day forward, the Nalan family and Nalan Yun have no ties whatsoever to me, Xiao, or the Xia family." Nalan Yun froze as she saw the divorce document. Covering her mouth in disbelief, she stammered, "How dare you write me a divorce letter?" The moment hung heavy in silence. Both families watched the scene unfold, speechless. On the opposite side, Xia Jan calmly raised his teacup and smiled faintly. At the same time, the system displayed a message, "Congratulations to the host. The second choice has been successfully completed. Reward granted, the Flame Emperor's fate." A spirit stone radiating intense firelight materialized in his palm. Turning it over thoughtfully, he muttered, "Not bad at all." After speaking, Xiao gave an order, "See the guests out." Leaning on his cane, Shai added with a smirk, "Oh yes, don't forget to take your priceless top-grade marrow cleansing pills with you." The head of the Nalan family let out a cold snort and turned away in frustration. Meanwhile, on Wind Mountain, the air blew desolate and sharp. Zion, clutching the fiery spirit stone, called out warmly, "Good grandson, come here. Great-grandfather has a gift for you. Relax your spirit." Xia, who hurried forward, bowing, "Thank you, great-grandfather." With care, Zion pressed the spirit stone against Xiao's abdomen. The system displayed, name, Xiao, race, human, realm, Kai refining, stage 4, spirit root, 2nd grade, special, Flame Emperor's fate not yet eligible for activation. Although nothing changed in his cultivation, and the Flame Emperor's fate could not yet be activated, Zion said with encouragement, "All right, I've used a secret technique to enhance the quality of your spirit root. But there is one condition: you must work hard in cultivation to make use of this gift. Otherwise, incidents like today will keep happening. Do you understand?" The boy nodded earnestly. "I understand, ancestor." "Good." He patted his shoulder with approval. "Now, go cultivate." Time slipped by, and soon a year had passed. Behind the mountain, Kron was deeply focused on cultivation when the ground of Chingan Mountain suddenly trembled violently. Alarmed, he leapt to his feet, soaring swiftly toward the disturbance. Something rare and extraordinary had appeared. The system chimed in, "Congratulations, host. You have discovered a rare treasure. Please choose an option." Frowning, he stroked his chin as he rode his sword through the sky. Choice 1. Seal off all of Qingyun Mountain with Golden Core Stage 3 cultivation and claim the treasure alone. Reward, top grade level 5 magical treasure. Choice 2. Pretend ignorance and let others fight over it without revealing your identity. Reward, top grade level 3 magical treasure. Without hesitation, he selected the second choice. It suited him better. Keeping a low profile is far wiser. The system responded, "Congratulations, host. You have chosen option 2. Reward granted. Top grade level 3 magical treasure, flowing cloud armor." A golden light wrapped around his hand before enveloping his entire body. The translucent armor shimmered like flowing clouds. He examined it with satisfaction. The armor would fit his body perfectly, hidden as an inner garment under normal circumstances, only manifesting when danger struck. Activating sword flight, he turned back toward home. As the wind rushed past, he thought to himself, the system really wanted me to trap myself by sealing Qingyan Mountain. That would have been suicide. Quiet cultivation in the shadows is enough. When the time comes, future generations will continue to thrive. The future promises boundless skies and limitless possibilities. Magical treasures, cultivation advancements, all of them will one day belong to me. A long life surrounded by children and grandchildren will bring happiness, but above all else, this is the greatest goal worth striving for. At dawn, on a bustling street, a scholar exclaimed loudly, "Did anyone see the dazzling purple light last night? Such brilliance must surely signal the presence of a rare treasure." A bystander immediately responded, "I saw it as well. I stepped outside after quarreling with my wife, and right above the mountain, I witnessed it with my own eyes. I can't help but wonder which deity could have left such a gift behind." Another voice quickly chimed in, "We're heading up the mountain to search for it. Do you want to join us?" The man beside him nodded. "Of course, if we truly discover a treasure, it will be like ascending to the heavens themselves. Let's hurry gather as many people as possible. We cannot allow the Wang family to seize the advantage. Brothers, this is our Chen family's chance. If we succeed, our rise will be unstoppable." Crowds quickly gathered, each group shouting fiercely. One side bellowed, "The Hang family is invincible. Brothers, will we allow the Lu family to trample over us?" The other group, no less competitive, shouted back, "This treasure belongs to our Hang family alone. No one else can claim it." Meanwhile, outside Liu City, behind the mountain belonging to the Xiao family, a horse-drawn carriage approached swiftly. Within it sat Xiao Chen's eldest son, the current head of the family Xia Lai. Restlessly tapping his cane, he urged the driver forward with impatience. The carriage soon stopped at the cultivation grounds behind the Xiao estate. Xia Lai stepped down and entered respectfully, calling out, "Father." Inside, his father was absorbed in writing. Without raising his head, he asked calmly, "Ah, Lear, what troubles you so much that you appear in such haste? Sit down and speak." With a wave of spiritual energy, he guided his son gently into a seat. As soon as Xia Lai sat, the support faded. The elder son glanced down, reminded that despite being 80 years old, he still required his father's strength. Yet his father looked vigorous, far younger and healthier than him. Taking a deep breath, Xia Lai reported, "Father, last night a mysterious purple light appeared over Mount Qing. They say it's a treasure. Early this morning, every major family from around the city has already sent people to search for it. Even the smaller clans of Liu City have joined in. Our Xiao family has a spirit root. This treasure must not fall into the hands of others." He thought silently to himself, "As long as father agrees, I'll gather our people and set out immediately." His father, Xiaoan, calmly lifted a teacup and walked over to him. "Lear, don't be rash. Do you still remember the lessons I drilled into you as a child?" Xia Lai nodded earnestly. "Of course. You always taught us to act only after careful thought, to plan before moving." "That is correct," Xiaoan said with a firm gaze. "And because of that, our Xiao family must not get involved in this matter." Xia Lai's expression shifted. "But father—" Xiaoan raised a hand, cutting him off. "Lear, we are ordinary people. Treasures like these are far beyond our reach. Even if we were fortunate enough to claim it, we would only face the endless greed of rival families. Why waste lives on such a futile struggle? Better to remain still and watch quietly. When they've fought each other into exhaustion, we may reap the fisherman's benefit." Though dissatisfied, Xia Lai bowed his head. "I understand, father. I will obey." Yet deep inside, he could not agree with his father's cautious approach. Xiaoan then said firmly, "For our Xiao family, the most important matter is to continue our bloodline. That is our true path forward. Go now." Yes, father, Xiaolai replied, though unease still lingered in his heart. 3 days later, at the back mountain of the Xiao estate, Zhao Chen sat calmly before the door, cultivating in silence. Extending his divine sense, he sensed a familiar presence drawing near. It was none other than Xiaolai, walking slowly with his cane. Zhao Chen smiled faintly and, with a flick of his hand, released a stream of spiritual energy. It enveloped his eldest son, lifting him effortlessly and bringing him directly before him, much to Xiaolai's surprise. Father extended his divine sense, instantly moving me right before him. His ability left me deeply impressed. Stepping forward, I bowed respectfully as he spoke. The news of a treasure appearing on Mount Qinggan has already reached the ears of the Qinglam sect. They have dispatched 20 immortals to seal off the entire mountain. The descendants of various families who ventured there in search of fortune have all been captured, tortured, and ultimately silenced by their hands. Zhao Chen rose, anger flashing in his eyes. The Qinglam sect claims to walk the righteous path, yet their hearts are steeped in cruelty. Simply for the sake of a treasure, they resort to mercilessly slaughtering innocent people. Father nodded gravely. Remember the broken engagement with Xia Hu? That incident alone revealed more of the Qinglam sect's true nature. For now, our Xia family must remain low-key, hiding our abilities and avoiding unnecessary conflict. Only when our descendants flourish and grow in number can the Xia family's legacy continue for generations. Without this, everything we've built will vanish in vain. He gently patted his son's shoulder. Shai bowed deeply. Father is wise. I understand. After that, he asked for permission to withdraw. Time flowed swiftly, and half a year soon passed. The system's voice appeared once again. Congratulations. The host's descendants have now reached 400. A choice is available. Option 1. Condemn a person to be forsaken by heaven and earth. Secretly infiltrate Mount Qinggan to search for treasure. Reward: 1 medium-grade spirit stone. Option 2. Develop steadily without competing against the world, avoiding risk. Reward: 1 low-grade spirit vein. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully. To venture into Mount Qinggan now is far too dangerous. The Qinglam sect has surrounded the entire mountain. Though no treasures have been uncovered yet, a lone man cannot oppose so many. It is wiser to remain cautious. Without hesitation, he chose the second path, to grow steadily, focusing on strengthening the Xia family through countless descendants. That was his true purpose. As he sat cross-legged in meditation, the system's voice echoed once more. Congratulations on your choice. System reminder: by planting a spirit vein upon any ordinary mountain range, spiritual energy will flow underground. He immediately pressed his palm against the mountain behind the Xia family. Placement confirmed. Spirit vein successfully rooted. At once, spiritual energy surged violently, diffusing through the land. Zhao En smiled with joy. The spiritual kai of heaven and earth is so dense it nearly forms a mist. Sitting down again, he declared, "It is time to enter closed-door cultivation." Meanwhile, on Mount Qinggan, a blood-curdling scream rang out. A cultivator was slashed by a sword, blood spraying across the ground as countless onlookers recoiled in horror. The man behind the act was none other than Qinglam sect elder, Lun Fang. Clutching his sword, he addressed the trembling captives. "Watch closely. This is the fate of those who slack off and shirk their duties." Several men collapsed to the ground in terror. He continued coldly, "If any of you dare to be lazy again, this will be your end." Sheathing his sword with a harsh motion, his expression suddenly changed. A powerful surge of heaven and earth's spiritual energy brushed against his senses. In an instant, he leapt into the branches of a nearby tree, scanning the horizon. "Elder Lun, what troubles you?" someone below asked. His gaze sharpened. "This immense fluctuation of spiritual energy, it's coming from behind the Xia family's mountain." He turned back briefly. Continue monitoring the strong young men from the other families. I'll investigate the source of this surge." Without another word, he flew swiftly toward the Shia family's lands. The closer he drew, the stronger and wilder the spiritual energy became. His heart pounded with excitement, though he forced himself to remain calm. "I must suppress my aura and conceal my presence," he thought. "Ordinary lives are nothing before me, but if other cultivators appear, carelessness could cost everything." Zion was deep in cultivation when the system abruptly warned him, detected Qinglam sect elder Li Shunfang approaching. His expression darkened in irritation. "Who dares disturb me while I'm absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth?" As Li Shunfang drew closer, the system's choice function activated. Zion hesitated only a moment before selecting. First, observe quietly. Don't act rashly. Li Shunfang eventually arrived at the mountain behind the Zai family estate. He raised his hand to probe the area, but to his surprise, detected no other cultivators. With a sudden leap, he ascended into the air and gazed down from above. His eyes widened in disbelief. A low-grade spirit vein. If the sect leader learns that I've discovered this, my promotion to Grand Elder will be within reach. I might even secure priority access to the spirit vein itself. With that, advancing to the golden core stage would be effortless. I must report this to the Qinglam sect immediately. Before he could act further, Zion employed an illusion and appeared before him. "Fellow Taoist, where do you come from?" Li Shunfang froze, startled that someone had evaded his probing technique. A flicker of unease stirred in his chest. Quickly, he clasped his hands in greeting. "I did not realize this cultivation ground was already claimed. I have intruded by mistake. I am Li Shunfang, elder of the Qinglam sect. It seems fate has brought us together today. May this fellow Taoist be willing to show himself." Zion finally revealed himself with a faint smile. "So, it is fellow Taoist Li. This old man is Zai Hao." Inwardly, Zion smirked. He had casually fabricated the name to buy time and find a way to send the intruder away. Li Shunfang's eyes narrowed slightly. "Though he avoided my probe, proving his strength surpasses mine. It shouldn't be by much. If he were truly powerful, I'd already be dead. This name, Zai Hao, is unfamiliar. He must be a rogue cultivator. Barging into another's cultivation ground is a grave taboo. If he were truly strong, he'd strike me down without hesitation. No matter, if I kill him by surprise, this spirit vein will be mine. With it, I'll reach the golden core stage and secure the title of Grand Elder." Feigning respect, Li Shunfang retrieved a jade bottle from his robe. "Senior, this is my top-grade marrow cleansing pill. Today I intruded upon your domain by mistake. Please accept this as my compensation." He offered it with both hands. "In the future, you must visit the Qinglam sect, so that I may host you properly." Zion studied him with a calculating gaze. This man, every time the spiritual mist thickens, greed flashes in his eyes. Still, to offer a gift as apology is unexpected. He accepted the pill with a smile. "Very well, fellow Taoist Li. It was indeed a misunderstanding. Another day, I will certainly visit the Qinglam sect. Ha ha ha." As he spoke, Zion subtly probed the man's aura. His cultivation isn't too high. He's a foundation establishment cultivator slightly weaker than myself. If I strike when he least expects it, wounding and killing him wouldn't be difficult. Li Shunfang clasped his hands again. "In that case, I will no longer disturb you. The sect still has matters requiring my attention. In 3 days, I shall return to invite you to the Qinglam sect." Turning away, his smile twisted into a cold frown. "I must obtain this spirit vein, no matter the cost." Watching him depart, Zion exhaled in relief. Finally, I've sent him away. But even as he thought this, Li Shunfang's expression darkened. Once I secure this low-grade spirit vein, promotion to Grand Elder and advancement to Golden Core will be within my grasp. At that moment, The system displayed a warning. Killing intent from Li Shun Fang +1. Zion's brows furrowed. Damn it. A wolf in sheep's clothing. I thought the matter was settled. Truly, there isn't a single good person in the Qinglam sect. Without hesitation, he activated Strike First for advantage and unleashed the Yang Sword technique, charging straight toward Li Shun Fang. Though Li hadn't looked back, his instincts screamed as a dreadful force bore down upon him. Terror surged in his heart. He spat out a mouthful of blood, staring at the wound in horror. You actually ambushed me?" He could hardly believe Zion had dared to strike him directly. The razor-sharp strike from Kai's sword pierced deep into his internal organs. Though it wouldn't kill him instantly, the outcome was no different. Zion looked down from above, his voice cold. "You wanted to kill me and steal my spirit vein, didn't you? If you intended to take my life, then it's only natural I'd take yours. Your death is no injustice." The man stammered in disbelief, his mind reeling. How did he know? I hid it so carefully, yet he still discovered it. Desperation overcame him, and he threw himself toward Zion, begging. "Senior, spare me. I was blinded by greed. I'm an elder of the Qinglam sect. You cannot kill me. If you do, the Qinglam sect will never forgive you." The system chimed, killing intent from Lin Fang +1. Without hesitation, Zion raised his sword and unleashed the technique, Sunset over Western Mountains. Lin Fang's face twisted in panic as the strike descended. He could hardly believe Zion would disregard his status as a Qinglam sect elder. The blade flashed, and in the next instant, his head fell to the ground, eyes still wide open. The headless corpse collapsed, strangely familiar, almost as if even in death, Lin Fang couldn't believe he had been cut down by Zion. Calmly, Zion sheathed his sword. The system displayed. "Congratulations, choice confirmed. Reward granted, superior grade magical treasure Zhang Chenkun, level 3. He glanced at the lifeless body. "In your next life, don't walk such a wicked path." He realized the system had automatically confirmed his first option and granted him the reward. Studying the golden bell that appeared in his hand, Zion gave it a shake, then smiled. Channeling his spiritual power, he hurled the bell far away, laughing loudly. The Zhang Chankun is indeed useful and essential tool for killing. As usual, the system continued its prompts. Zion carefully searched Lin Fang's storage bag, but all he found were 10 spirit stones and a few ordinary pills. He folded his arms, slightly disappointed. Truly pitiful. He was dirt poor. 3 days later, the skies were clear, painted in blue with drifting white clouds under the golden sun. She approached slowly. As he reached the doorway, a voice from inside called out, "Come in." He instinctively adjusted his clothes before pushing the door open. Inside, Zio Chen sat on a chair and asked evenly, "What brings you here, son?" She stepped forward respectfully. "Father, since the treasure on Mount King Yun couldn't be found, the Qinglam sect members have lost all patience. They've already begun to withdraw. This morning, the last Immortal from Qinglam left." Zion was slightly surprised. "So, all of them are gone. It seems this treasure was never meant for them. Only the truly destined can obtain it. If Mount King Yun now holds no immortals, then we must encourage our clan to work harder for the prosperity of the Shi family." She bowed deeply. "I obey. Once I return, I'll inform the young men of the clan." As he turned to leave, the system displayed. Host's descendants with spirit roots have reached 50. Special reward granted, 65 cultivation points and 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. Heavenly Tao field function unlocked. Curious, Zion examined the new feature. The Heavenly Tao field covered the mountain behind the Shi family estate, where spiritual energy density was 10 times greater than normal, doubling cultivation speed. It also allowed him to observe developments within the field at any time. A faint smile crossed his face. This is truly a blessed land. After absorbing the 65 cultivation points, his cultivation advanced further. He had now reached the 6th level of the Golden Core. Then, the system's voice sounded again. Thousand-year ginseng detected within the heavenly Tao field. Choice activated. First option, immediately capture the ginseng and absorb it. Gain 500 years of cultivation, 350 cultivation points, and the pure wind technique, 9 variations. Reward of 6 bottles of longevity pills and heavenly technique, 9 transformations. Zion pondered silently. This rare spiritual entity had absorbed a millennium of sun and moon essence atop Mount Qingyun. It had gained consciousness 2 centuries ago and successfully taken form a decade earlier, now wielding powerful earth-moving divine abilities. So this is the true treasure the Qinglam sect desperately sought. Using his divine sense, Zion scanned the mountain, and sure enough, he located it. He smiled faintly, thinking to himself that it would be a pity to simply consume such a treasure. Instead, he decided he would tame it. Without hesitation, he shot through the air like the wind, swiftly making his way to the back of the Shia family's heavenly Da field. At that moment, a small child wearing a red bib was playing and laughing freely in the fields. His laughter rang out clearly, echoing through the dense spiritual energy surrounding the area. The child paused, gazing around in wonder. The spiritual energy here is so thick. Could this really be an immortal realm? He muttered. Suddenly, a gentle voice spoke. Little friend, what are you looking for? Do you need my help? Startled, the boy's eyes widened, and tears welled up before spilling down his cheeks. At that moment, Zan slowly descended from the sky, landing softly beside him. The frightened child immediately used an earth-moving technique, attempting to burrow into the ground to escape. Zan observed calmly and let out a small smile. So, you rely on this earth-moving technique to vanish without a trace? No wonder the Qinglam sect and the young heirs of other clans couldn't locate you. That explains much. Watching the boy, now surrounded by faint streams of immortal energy, Zan's expression turned thoughtful. Still, this is my territory, the heavenly Da field. The spiritual energy here is denser than anywhere else. Partly it is strengthened by the spirit stones embedded within the soil, and partly it comes from the natural foundation of the field itself. Together, they create a concentration of energy that rivals the blessed lands of the greatest sects. No wonder a treasure such as the 1,000-year ginseng is irresistibly drawn here. The boy continued to scurry about, but Zan raised his hand, conjuring a stream of energy that enveloped him completely. The current lifted the boy gently into the air and brought him closer. Little friend, I found you again, Zan said softly. With care, he lowered the boy back to the ground. The child, now surrounded by dissipating strands of spiritual energy, turned and looked at Zan, his small face trembling as he wailed out, Immortal. Zan clasped his hands behind his back, then bent slightly with a kind smile. Do not be afraid, little one. This old man has no intention of harming you. The boy blinked at him with wide, innocent eyes filled with awe. When Zan reached down, the child instinctively stretched out his tiny hands to grasp one of his fingers. In the next moment, Zan pulled him into his arms, cradling him carefully. The boy's warmth and innocence made him smile, and he reached out to gently pat the child's round head with affection. Then, as if remembering something important, he asked, That's right, little one, would you like to take me as your master? The boy, sitting securely in his palm, tilted his head in confusion. Take as master? He repeated in a soft mumble. Zan explained patiently, If you acknowledge me as your master, then from this day forward you may live freely on this mountain without fear. I will also pass down to you the ways of cultivation, teaching you the path of immortality itself. How does that sound? His words were gentle, filled with the warmth of a father's affection. The boy's eyes lit up with wonder at the phrase, immortal cultivation. Without hesitation, he bowed his little head and stammered out, Master. 1,000-year ginseng subdued. Rewards received, 6 bottles of longevity pills, heavenly technique, 9 transformations. Hearing this, Zahn's expression brightened. He glanced at the treasures gained and smiled with satisfaction. Then, patting the boy's head, he laughed warmly. Ha ha, good disciple. He lifted the child carefully into both hands and continued, Since you are a 1,000-year ginseng who has taken human form, your master will now bestow upon you a name. From this day forward, you shall be called Ling Shentz. The boy's eyes sparkled with joy, his voice bubbling with excitement. I have a name now. I'm Ling Shentz, he giggled happily, causing Zahn to laugh with him. Very good, Zahn said warmly. As your master, I will also give you a welcoming gift. I shall pass down to you a cultivation technique, the Heavenly 9 Transformations. It is a top-tier, 3rd-grade art. The boy looked up curiously. Master, what is the Heavenly 9 Transformations? Placing a steady hand on Ling Shentz's forehead, Zahn replied, You'll understand soon enough. Relax your mind. With that, he transmitted the technique directly into the boy's consciousness. Ling Shentz's once empty mind suddenly ignited with radiant patterns of scripture and mystical insight. His eyes widened as wonder filled him. Wow, he gasped in amazement. Zahn leaned closer, smiling. Do you sense the scripture within your mind now? The boy immediately nodded eagerly. Yes, it's there. He praised the boy, remarking that his progress was not bad. Over the next several days, he dedicated himself to teaching him diligently. One day, he wrote the character Shen on paper and had the boy read it aloud after him. This is the character Shen, he explained. Suddenly, he noticed someone outside. Realizing it was Xiao, he called out, Why are you here? Xiao entered slowly, her expression sorrowful and contemplative. Bowing respectfully, she greeted him with soft determination. Patriarch, I've come to bid you farewell. I want to embark on a journey to experience the world. I must seek opportunities that belong to me. Only through wandering can I truly grow. It will also prepare me for the appointment in 15 years. Her words surprised him, and he let out a heavy sigh. Just then, the system appeared with a new notification. Detected. Xiao H has chosen to embark on a journey of experience. Initiating choice. Please select. First choice, refuse and personally guide Xiao. Reward top-tier 4th-grade magical treasure. Second choice, approve Xiao's journey. Reward top-tier 3rd-grade magical treasure. He hesitated at the sight of the options. Zion frowned, unsure of what to say. Xiao, sensing his uncertainty, spoke quickly. Patriarch, please allow me. At that moment, Zion also stepped forward. I agree, he said firmly. Xiao called out twice, Patriarch. Zion placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder and encouraged her. A jade cannot shine without polishing. Go, but be careful in all things. Remember, the Xia family will always be your strongest support. Moved to tears, Xiao bowed deeply in gratitude for the patriarch's blessing. The system then displayed another notification. Congratulations, host. You have chosen to allow Xiao H to embark on her journey of experience. Reward received, top-tier 3rd-grade magical treasure, the Azure Dragon Sword. Looking at his young niece, Zion sighed to himself. Young birds must eventually learn to fly. Though uneasy about her decision, he called Xiao over and handed her the gleaming sword. This is the Azure Dragon Sword, a top-tier 3rd-grade magical treasure. Use it well for self-defense during your travels. Xiao accepted the weapon joyfully, holding it with care. Thank you, Patriarch. Zion smiled warmly. Go now, and remember, be cautious in all things, and think before you act. Xiao obeyed immediately. She stepped out of the Patriarch's chambers but paused, bowing once more before the closed door. Patriarch, I will not disappoint you. With that, she departed. Zion, watching her resolve, smiled gently in reassurance. Stepping outside, he looked up at the blue sky, finding beauty in its vastness. Several months later, as he sat cultivating in the courtyard, the system suddenly chimed, startling him. Your niece, Shio H, has had a fortuitous encounter with a master. Under guidance, her cultivation has advanced rapidly. Zion's eyes widened. Her cultivation increased so dramatically. The system displayed detailed information. Name, Shio H. Race, human. Cultivation, foundation establishment 3rd layer. Talent, supreme grade spirit root. Destiny, flame emperor. He studied the panel in awe. Already at foundation establishment, 3rd layer, what kind of deity or expert could guide her so swiftly? He exhaled deeply, concluding with conviction. It's as if she's using a cheat.